Well, welcome. Come on in. Um, it's spring this week. Yay! Officially, obviously, from Friday, so that's really nice. Um, and as I've been thinking about kind of what it means from a elemental theory point of view, we're going from water, which is winter, into wood, which is kind of more about action taking. So if you think about spring, like everything in the natural world kind of explodes, like leaves suddenly appear and the shoots are coming out everywhere. So that's very much the element of wood and action and stuff happening. Um, However, we are still transitioning out of what is known as water and the element for winter. And it's reminded me of a visualization that I had around the time I was bringing out my book. So I had this, I felt like I was thick in all of this mud, and there was this big wall in front of me. It was like a big metal, like rusty wall, and there was this big plug in the middle of it. And my book was basically this plug, and I needed to pull it out so that fresh water could come into this, like just thick mire that I was stood in. And then once I was able to do that, all of a sudden there was like flowing water around me. And then I suddenly felt like the lady of the lake. And I had this like flowing gown. And as the water started to fill and flow around me, that's when around me I could see that there was actual greenery and flowers and woods, and little creatures were coming and they wanted to be part of my the lake. And when they came to the lake, they felt replenished by the waters that they were in. So I'd love you to kind of be the lady of the lake today and just imagine that all of the mud that is at the bottom has now been filled by the waters of winter. And now this is going to enable us to kind of move into what could spring be like? How can we use what we've learned from winter, and winter in inverted commas, because divorce is basically like a big long autumn followed by a winter. Can we start to see that this is beginning to nourish us, and how can we take the opportunity to feel nourished by what we're learning, as well as preparing for what's the next steps. And it can be done slowly, because obviously it was just a tiny little plug that I was pulling out, and it flowed in really slowly. But over time, it became something really beautiful that is turning into an ecosystem that's supporting other people as well. Very slowly. Okay, so with that in mind, another kind of water point for us is just along the back of the neck. So if you imagine at the back of your neck, you've got two like tendony, bony things, and at the base of the skull, there's like two little nodules. So if you feel up the back of your neck to the base of the skull, you'll feel these two little points. Can you feel them? Like at the base of the skull, there's like two little ridges. So you go up the neck and then just there. Have you got that? This is called, it's in the bladder line, it's called bladder 10, but it's known as the heavenly pillars, which is really nice. And so um, it's really good for releasing neck tension and tension in the back of the head. It's great for calming the nervous system. So it's just like another tool in your armor of when you're feeling stressed, just you can almost like lean your head back onto your fingers, slowing down the breath, and it really helps with like emotional overwhelm. So it's almost like you're soothing your inner child as you're kind of rubbing up the back of the neck and feeling that little spot, those two little spots at the base of the skull. We just take a few deep breaths and we'll continue to rub up the back of the neck.